Hey everybody, this is Perch. This is a short mail, but I think it's an interesting one. It is for me, and this may be a case where I'm just kind of enamored by this question. None of you might be. So, in the comments, let me know if is this an interesting question or not? Because I think there's a bigger aspect to this question. A few of you, by the way, text me and you're like, I listened to your video, and that was a really interesting question you asked there. But you don't put it in the comments, so I'm actually kind of curious. So here's the mail. It says, "Hello, Perch. I'm curious. You've been reading comics for a very long time. Thanks. I'm old. Yes, I get it. You've been reading comics for a very long time. Do you prefer stories that are new and original or comfortable and reliable?" The reason I'm asking is that comic books, in my opinion, are at a bit of a crossroads. They're either trying to go for comfortable nostalgia, giving readers what they expect, or they are aggressively telling readers they're aggressively telling readers they will subvert their expectations and give them something new. I know how you feel about subverting expectations, but are you more interested in new creativity or reliable storytelling? I understand if the framing is a bit of a cheat. By the way, I love the way this person's writing this mail. It's right. This person writes a mail like I think. That's a bit of a cheat. I don't know. There's something charming about that. Anyway, uh, curious to hear your thoughts. Again, thank you for your show. I know a lot of people tell you this, but I'll be very sad when your show ends. You have been like a friend to me, even though I've never met you. Oh, that's sweet. All right, I'll all choked up here. Okay. Um, I love this question, but I don't know that I have a great answer to it. And I'm just being honest, and that's why I really love to know the thoughts of the people who are listening right now, because for me, um, I generally speaking, if I'm going with my gut of how I'd answer this question, I would almost always say I prefer new something new. And maybe it's your age. I don't know. At my age, I've read so many comics. I mean, I've wagered to bet that I've read most of the comics. Every now and then, somebody's like, "Oh, I've read more." This guy doesn't even read comics. Oh, please. I'm sorry. I've read so many comics. Um, I'd be willing to put it up with anyone. I am a guy who defeated Tom Brevoort in his trivia challenge when he used to do it at Comic Cons, and not a lot of people have done that. I feel like I've read more comics than most. I'm in the 1%. Um, and so, as such, a lot of comics do repeat storylines. They do kind of, do the same material over and over again. And things get old after a while. And you just get tired of comics and stories and everything else. And so I appreciate people who try something new. And generally speaking, for a long time, I would appreciate something that was new, even if it would have missed the mark, even when it was not particularly good story. But damn it, you could tell the person was trying to do something different, and I appreciated that. At some point in the not so recent past, um, it started to feel. I'm going to try and land this point. It started to feel like people were trying things new, but not trying very hard. Meaning they were like, I'm going to subvert expectations, but they would do it in the most lazy way possible. Case in point, Heroes in Crisis. Tom King did this event mini series called Heroes in Crisis, and the basic premise or the pitch was, hey, these superheroes are doing crazy stuff that probably is creating a lot of trauma for them, and so how do they go to talk out their feelings? Where do they go to, who's the therapist that talks to Superman? Who would be the person to be trusted? And hey, as a novel idea, what if we had a place where superheroes could go check themselves in when they feel like they're breaking down or when they're having mental issues, and they could be safely recovered. That was Tom King's basic pitch. And it turned into a weird exploration where all the superheroes are actually damaged in some form, and all of them are, they don't even believe in a lot of what they do, but they're doing it anyway. It was kind of a little bit of the concept there was if you think about the police, for example, the cops in your town, the police, in theory, the police are there to kind of, do what's right and protect people from, crime and other things. But, you also know that the policeman at some point puts the gun and the badge away and goes home, and, the kid is, in trouble at school, and, the wife is harping them on something, and the policeman is, depressed, and he has been seeing all this traumatic bullshit, and then snaps and, like, beats his children or something. And then, and it's terrible. You have this guy who's this paragon of virtue, who's trying to uphold good things, but, is a monster at home. And the dichotomy of that is, somebody thinks about that and goes, oh man, that would be a great comic. Well, no, it wouldn't be a great comic. It wasn't a great comic. And Heroes of Crisis was a pile of shit. But, it's that you could trick yourself into thinking that something is actually very clever when it's not. And so a lot of comics that are trying new and different things, I feel, are kind of in that vein. It's actually not that new, and it's not that different. It is kind of really built on a premise of, hey, my life is shitty. What if we made Green Lantern's life shitty? And what if, Green Lantern, who is a superhero who's meant to be escapism, actually was kind of had ADHD and was depressed, and using the green power ring gave him a false sense of security, and they couldn't get an erection anymore. And you could follow this, you could follow this train of thought to an absolutely insane place where you suddenly you're writing a maxi series for DC Comics, where you've got Mr. Miracle, who is suicidal and, maybe hates his life. And before you know it, you're like, what are you even doing? Uh, that's that's a problem with new and different. So, my gut tells me I would prefer new and different stories, but my brain tells me I probably want safe and reliable at this point, because too many people doing the new and different are not actually skilled at doing the new and different. And, look, I'm just a guy on YouTube. I have no say in anything. But, I talk to different comic creators, people I respect, writers I like. And I was talking to one writer I genuinely like as a person, although it would be nice if he would do an interview on this fucking show. Scott, sorry. Anyway, but, we'll talk about kind of the ideas of some of what's happening in comics. And you hate to give the advice of, it would be wonderful if we could just get a comic book where the heroes are acting like heroes, like, in a very weird way. Subverting expectations in comic books would be just delivering us a good action adventure story with heroes who actually want to be heroes and are trying to, like escapist fantasy. Look, this point I'm about to make, I'm sure will offend lots of you, although I feel like I've already probably stepped in that several times in this video already. But there's no reason why Rob Liefeld saying, I'm going to do a Deadpool mini series that exists somewhere in continuity, but who knows where the fuck where. I mean, like, Deadpool has introduced these characters like Thumper and other things. Like, do these characters actually exist in the Marvel universe? I have no idea. Is this the 616, or is this some other alternate Marvel universe? I don't know. I can't tell with the series that Rob Liefeld has done lately. It's not that they're bad. It's just I have no idea if these things are meant to exist in a Marvel universe or not. It seemingly they don't apply to any current continuity. Maybe they fit. I don't know. But there's no reason why these comic books should be successful, because they're not tied to anything. They don't really seem to matter to the ultimate continuity. And Rob Liefeld's a decent artist. I'm never going to talk bad about Rob Liefeld, because Liefeld's New Mutants and X-Force and Youngblood, for whatever it was, paid rent in my comic shop for like many of the months. I can chalk up to Rob Liefeld. He paid the rent in my store, so I'm never gonna crap on him too much for that. No, the guy can't draw feet, sure, but still, he paid the rent. So, like, am I really gonna shit on him for not drawing feet? But these comic books are not really supposed to matter. And yet, if I'm a retailer, if I'm a comic shop owner, and somebody told me like, hey, Okay, you got two choices. We're going to either give you a Rob Liefeld doing a nostalgia Deadpool with some cameos from X-Force characters, or Tom King is going to write fuck, who has Tom King now? Tom King's going to write Superman, and I guess he did do that Superman. Anyway, Tom King's going to write Superman, and he's going to completely deconstruct Superman in a 12-part event series that is going to shake the way you look at Superman. It will be completely new, and you'll never, you're never going to look at Superman the same way again. So I'm taking Rob Liefeld's Deadpool knockoff nostalgia bullshit remix every day of the week, including Sunday. Every day, I'm taking the Rob Liefeld book because that will sell. And because at the end of the day, while I think a lot of comic readers like me want to be surprised by their comics, they don't want to be disgusted or they don't like they want exciting comics with people full of passion, but they don't want to be they don't want to like to use the old analogy. I'm sure Charlie Brown, when he would run and try and kick the football from Lucy, every now and then Charlie Brown actually wanted to kick that damn football. And I'm sure he didn't actually get excited about the idea of Lucy pulling it away every single time. By the way, people who have not followed Peanuts have no idea what the fuck I'm talking about right now. But it every now and then you want to actually kick the football. You can't have it yanked away every single time. And so over time, I think for a lot of comic readers, and I'm guessing for a lot of you listening right now, you just want to have something reliable and safe, something that reminds you of why you collected comics in the first place and why you bother. Um, I think a lot of you like surprises and a lot of you like subverting expectations and you like that stuff, but there's a limit. You can't have 100% subverting expectations. You want to have something to lean on. And the more you've lived in a world where you just get constantly the opposite of what you expect and want, the more you start to lean on and rely on and hope for safe. And I think that's where, so to me, my heart wants to answer your question with, give me something new, give me something different, give me something I've never seen before. That's what my heart wants to say. But my mind, and maybe more appropriately, my wallet, just really just wants to, have I just want to have something where I don't feel bad about spending my $4.99. So how about all of you? What do you want? Like I said, I appreciate the question, and I think it opens up a bigger, nice, debatable kind of question. If I was doing live streams, it'd be a great question for a live stream to ask both people in chat, people who are guests, like what do you want? Because I think all of us are kind of tuned, and the expectation is that we'd want something. Who's going to say I just want the same shit? I just want the same shit that's good. No, that's not. Nobody wants to hear that. You're supposed to say, I want something new, surprising, daring. But after so much new, surprising, and daring, I think I just want reliable. How about you? Thanks for listening.